Well, welcome back to the Prospect Hut, and hopefully you like this video. Well, the Mets have not played as well as they had, early in the season, the last few weeks, and they've also been dealing with some injuries. And it seems that Jesse Winker hurt his back after coming off the IL with an oblique, so he's sort of having these sort of core issues because obviously the front is always connected to the back, and the back was tweaked on Thursday against the Orioles. But the Mets need a bit of a jolt in terms of the pitching, in terms of the offense a little bit. I'm not exactly thrilled with some of the offensive output at the bottom of this lineup. But there is some talk that the Mets could call up a prospect, and that is Drew Gilbert, who has been playing really well down in AAA, or up in AAA, and they could use a little bit of a jolt, and he could play center field. I'm not too enamored with Jeff McNeil in center, to be honest with you, either. But this is SI putting this suggestion out, and I agree with them. Drew Gilbert should be Mets call-up if Jesse Winker needs an IL stint. Jesse Winker injured his back in Thursday's loss to the Orioles, which could create an opening on the big league roster for Drew Gilbert. Drew Gilbert is considered one of the better prospects the Mets have in their system, and they need a bit of and he's a high-energy player, and the Mets could use that right now. The New York Mets lost the game to the Baltimore Orioles on Thursday afternoon, but may have taken a bigger lineup hit in the process. DH Jesse Winker, who just got back from the injured list on Tuesday, had to leave the game at just one at bat when his back locked up on him. Mets manager Carlos Mendoza revealed after the game that Winker is heading to New York for further exams on his back. Given that the team has just 3 days left before the All-Star break, you'd be surprised to see Winker land back in the IL to try and minimize the amount of time he could miss. An IL stint would mean that the Mets will have to add another player on the roster to cover Winker's latest absence, and they missed him in the second game. At the 5 o'clock game, they really missed not having him in the lineup. While the safe move would be to promote Jared Young, which he's terrible, he can't hit, from AAA Syracuse, the bold choice would be to tap prospect Drew Gilbert to make his major league debut. We've seen enough of Jared Young. I don't want him back here. They might bring him up, for another, they'll probably bring him up because he's on the 40-man roster. After a slow start to the season, Gilbert has been on a heater for Syracuse in July, hitting .320 with 3 homers, 9 RBIs, and an outstanding 1134 OPS and 25 at-bats. Gilbert has been showing more pop of late, with 5 of his 11 home runs coming since June 8, 2018. He does have a lot of power for a little guy. While Tyrone Taylor did get a big hit in the first game of the doubleheader, he had just 3 hits since mid-June. Luis Angel Acuna is back in the big leagues, which I'm not enamored with either. He didn't look good in the second game and could factor into the playing time mix in center field. But Gilbert's pedigree as a former top prospect and his increased offensive output should give him a shot to help light a spark in the Mets lineup that has been stagnant for the better part of a month now. They didn't look good in that second game. They look completely shot, especially after the way they lost that first game late. Giving Gilbert the call now could also be impactful for the Mets' trade deadline needs, which may now include a DH if Winker's back forces him into another extended absence. And they also don't have Starling Marte. So Mets don't have a DH now. So Mets have a problem. If Gilbert is able to solidify center field either on his own or as part of a platoon with Acuna or Taylor, that would be one less area that David Stearns will need to address with an external addition. The rub here is that Gilbert needs to be added to the 40-man roster, whereas a player like Young does not. You just DFA Young. The Mets do have an open 40-man roster spot after designated Travis Jankowski for assignment earlier in the day. But with Shohei Manaea and Brooks Raley slated to come off the injured list in the coming days, the Mets may opt to hold that spot for one of them to maintain maximum roster flexibility. Either way, the Mets will likely wait until they have an idea of how long Winker will be out before they fill out his spot on the roster. Young may be the team's preferred option for a short absence, but if Winker will miss extended time again, the best option is give Gilbert a chance at the major league level. I would give him a shot anyway. I'd give him a shot. He's healthy. He's playing well right now. Just call him up. I've seen enough of Jared Young. He's not any good. He'll run into a ball once in a while, hit it out, but he's not playing. He can't play the field. Mets haven't played him in the field. They're basically using him as a left-handed DH. Play Gilbert in center field against right-handed hitters or right-handed pitchers, and just give him a shot. You got about 2 weeks to the trade deadline, or 2.5 weeks or whatever it is, 3 weeks to the trade deadline. Just give it a shot, you know. If it doesn't work out, it's in the back, you know. Or if it does work out, you get a spark, and he's a high-energy player. So he's not like one of these players that, you know, he's going to drag himself. And, you know, I'm not happy with Acuna coming back. I was very surprised they recalled him from the minor leagues. I didn't think that it was worth it to bring him back, to have him sit around. And it's not anything bad about the player. He's a good defensive player. He's a good base runner. He does a lot of things well, a lot of little things well. And I think he can hit, but he doesn't have any power, nothing. I don't even think he could hit 5 home runs in a season. So that's very telling. Especially, it's odd that he doesn't have power and his brother does. But that's how it goes. But you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Prospect Hut, and I'll see you later.